Buenas tardes, vamos a comenzar con nuestra clase de inglés. Continuamos estudiando en el libro. Hola, vamos a comenzar con el libro. Vamos a ir a la página número 36. 36. Página 36. Y vamos a mirar las fotos y vamos a decidir si la respuesta es sí o si no. Vamos a ver. Número 1. Déjeme leer el ejemplo primero. Dice, hay 3 cuadernos. No. Hay 2 cuadernos. Yo quiero que ustedes respondan así. Lo voy a escribir acá. Miren acá.
Oh, disculpa, lo siento por mí. I'll try and keep it to a minimum here.
Not sure what you're talking about. We hear nothing, so we're good.
You don't hear her crying? Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Así que hay 3 cuadernos. No. Solamente hay 2. No. There are only 2. Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Vamos a ver, Chris, número 1. ¿Hay 3 globos?
No, solamente hay uno.
Excelente. Wojo, ¿hay 2 profesores?
No, solamente hoy uno profesor. I mean, could be 2. Maybe.
Quizás tienen corbata. Tienen corbata puesta. Quizás son 2 profesores. Vamos a hacer las 2 respuestas. Sí,
Sí, dos
hay
profesores.
profesores o no, solamente hay uno.
Uno.
¿Okay? Cualquiera de las 2. Depende. Continuamos. Número 3. Chris, ¿hay 4 borradores?
No, solamente hay un borrador.
Excelente. Un borrador. Muy bien. Número 4. Wojo, ¿hay 2 pupitres?
Sí, 2 pupitres. Hay 2 pupitres.
Excelente. Vamos a mirar la foto de abajo. Dice, ¿hay una profesora en la clase, en el salón de clase?
Sí, hay una profesora.
Muy bien. Página 37. Imagine que todo lo que está en el aula o en el salón, aula o salón, tiene que ser contado, incluyendo las personas. Vamos a ver la foto. ¿Cuántos borradores hay? Hay 12 borradores. La pregunta, déjenme la voy a escribir. ¿Cuántos borradores hay? Recuerden que las preguntas se hacen en plural. ¿Cuántas sillas hay? Aunque haya una nada más. Las preguntas. So don't forget that questions, when you create the questions
It's plural.
is plural, right?
Okay.
But then if you only have one, you just answer in singular. But the questions in general are in plural. Like, how many chairs are there? Oh, there's only one. Or you still asking plural? Bien. Vamos a ver, pregunta número 1. Chris, ¿cuántas paredes hay?
Hay 4 paredes.
Muy bien. Número 2. Woyo, ¿cuántos alumnos hay?
Hay 18 alumnos.
Muy bien. Muy bien. Chris, número 3. Usted le va a preguntar a Woyo y Woyo va a responder.
¿Cuántos profesor hay?
Hay un profesor.
¿Cuántos profesores hay? Profesores.
Profesores.
Hay un profesor.
Hay un profesor.
Muy bien. Número 4. Woyo, usted pregúntele a Chris.
¿Cuántos? Hold on. ¿Hay cuántos? Now I'm a little lost.
Sillas.
Sillas. Am I saying it right though? Like, am I asking the question in proper form?
Yeah, so for number 4, you're saying how many chairs are there? ¿Cuántas sillas hay? Sillas.
Okay. ¿Cuántas sillas hay?
Muy bien.
Hay 28 sillas.
Muy bien. Número 5. Chris, pregúntele a Woyo.
¿Cuántos regalos hay?
Hay 22 regalos.
Muy bien, so hay 20, déjeme escribir acá, 28 sillas. Esta palabra de acá, Woyo, se pronuncia. ¿Cuántas reglas hay?
You
Hay
want me to answer?
22
Hay 22 reglas.
reglas. Repita, Woyo, reglas.
Reglas.
Muy bien. Porque la palabra regalos son gifts.
Okay.
Número 6. Woyo, pregúntele a Chris, por favor.
¿Cuántos pupitres hay?
Hay 19 pupitres.
¿Cuántos pupitres hay? Hay 19 pupitres, muy bien. Número 7. Chris, pregúntele a Woyo.
¿Cuántos puertas hay?
¿Qué pasó ahí, Chris? ¿Cuántas?
¿Cuántas puertas? It wouldn't be puertas, no? Or puertas.
Correcto.
Okay.
Muy bien.
¿Hay un puerta?
Como puerta es femenina, puerta, hay una puerta. Muy bien.
Sí.
Okay.
Número 8. Woyo, pregúntele a Chris.
¿Cuántas alumnas hay?
Muy bien.
Hay 14 alumnas.
Excelente. Y ahora, Chris, pregúntele a Goyo.
¿Cuántos globos hay?
¿Cuántos globos?
Hay un globo.
Muy bien. Hay un globo. Excelente. Vamos a continuar. Así que, ¿cuántos hay? Número 1. Chris, ¿cuántos borradores hay?
Hay 4 borradores.
Muy bien. Número 2, Goyo, ¿cuántas muchachas hay?
Hay 3 muchachos.
Muy bien. Número 3, Chris, pregúntele a Goyo.
¿Cuántas cestas hay?
Muy bien.
Hay 2 cestos.
Excelente. Goyo, pregúntele a Chris.
¿Cuántas recoles hay?
Casi, casi, vamos. ¿Cuántos relojes?
¿Cuántos relojes hay?
Excelente.
Hay un reloj.
Hay un reloj. Muy bien. Chris, pregúntele a Goyo.
¿Cuántos profesores hay?
Hay un profesor.
¿Cuántos profesores, Goyo? ¿Hay uno?
Okay. 4 profesores hay.
Hay 4
Hay 4 profesores.
profesores. Muy bien. Goyo, pregúntele a Chris, la número 6.
I don't remember how you say window.
Ventana.
Ventana. ¿Cuántas ventanas hay?
¿Cuántas ventanas hay? Muy bien.
Hay una ventana. Hay una ventana.
Una ventana.
Hay una ventana. Muy bien. Excelente. Sigamos. Página 38. Ya se supone que puedan responder las siguientes preguntas. Repitan después de mí. ¿Cuántos alumnos hay?
¿Cuántos alumnos hay?
¿Cuántas alumnas hay?
¿Cuántas alumnas hay?
¿Cuántos alumnos hay?
¿Cuántos profesores hay?
¿Cuántos profesores hay?
Hay?
¿Cuántos relojes hay?
¿Cuántos
¿Cuántos
relojes hay?
relojes hay?
¿Cuántos masculino? So you ask ¿cuántos? If you have a word that ends in an O, right? You just use ¿cuántos? Words that ends in an A. ¿Cuántas manzanas? ¿Cuántos autos? Muy bien. Próxima página. Página 39. Repitan después de mí. El alumno.
El
El
alumno.
alumno.
Los alumnos.
Los
Los
alumnos.
La alumna.
La alumna.
Alumna.
Las alumnas.
Las
Las
alumnas.
alumnas.
El cuaderno.
El
El
cuaderno.
cuaderno.
Los cuadernos.
Los cuadernos.
La bandera.
La bandera.
Las banderas.
Las banderas.
Es simple, si es masculino, utiliza él, si es femenino, utiliza la. Página 40. Número 1. Chris, ¿qué tienes?
la silla. ¿Sí? La silla.
Sí, ¿qué tienes? La
Yeah.
silla.
Now, how would you say tiene la silla or I have or tengo la silla?
Muy bien. That's exactly what I was gonna type right under. That's why I started typing. You beat me to it. I'm gonna write it for all of them. ¿Qué tienes? La silla. Tengo la silla. That's how you would say I have the chair.
Now, would it be yo tengo or solo tengo?
Great question. In Spanish, when you have a verb, due to the ending of the verb, you don't have to say yo unless you choose to. It doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. For example, if somebody says the word como mucho, in English, that means I eat a lot. But if you say the phrase in English, can you please translate I eat a lot? I eat a lot. Okay, technically 4 words, right? In Spanish, you could say como mucho. You don't have to say anything else. But if you say yo como mucho, it's the same exact thing. Now, what do I want you to say? I want you all to practice saying every single word.
Yo tengo la silla.
Yo tengo la silla, because I want you to get the pronoun correctly all the time, and then you know that you could just get rid of it. So once later on, you'll be able to do more of that. So, número 2. ¿Qué tienes, Wojo?
Yo tienes dos borradores.
Yo tengo
Yo tengo dos borradores.
2 borradores. O el ejercicio es yo tengo los.
Los. Okay, so you don't want exact, you want the.
To use the word the, and for this one you could say que tienes los.
Borradores.
Muy bien. Número 3. ¿Qué tienes, Chris? ¿Qué tienes, Chris?
Gun?
Las reglas.
Las reglas.
Yo tengo las
Reglas.
reglas. Muy bien. Número 4. Wojo, ¿qué tienes?
Yo tengo los banderas. ¿Las banderas? Las banderas.
Bien. Muy bien. Muy bien. Número 5. Chris, ¿qué tienes? Okay, Chris, ahora. We couldn't hear you. I got you now. Go ahead.
Am I on mute? Yo tengo yo tengo el bolígrafo.
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 Muy bien. Yo tengo el bolígrafo. Muy bien. Número 5, Bollo. ¿Qué tienes?
Yo tengo la cesta.
Muy bien. Número 7, Chris. ¿Qué tienes?
Yo tengo las computadoras.
Excelente.
Computadoras.
Muy bien.
Hmm.
Número 8, Woyo. ¿Qué tienes?
Yo tengo LPs,
Lápiz.
lápiz. Why lápiz?
Yo
Lápiz.
tengo el lápiz.
Lápiz.
Woyo. Lápiz.
Lápiz.
Muy bien.
Lápiz.
Lápiz.
Excelente. Now, don't blame me if somebody and you go lápiz. No,
Lápiz.
With the breath and everything.
with the breath and the like a little. Número 9. Ok, Chris, ¿qué tienes?
Yo tengo los libros.
Muy bien. Yo tengo los libros. Excelente. Continuemos. Página número 41. Una lección de clase. Vamos a ver. Chris, ¿cuántos profesores hay en el salón?
Hay un profesor.
Hay un profesor, muy bien. Woyo. Voy a escribir la pregunta. ¿Cuántos niños están parados? ¿Cuántos niños están parados?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry. I think this thing froze.
¿Cuántos niños están parados?
Hay un niño parados.
Muy bien, hay un niño parado. If you hear the phrase de pie, it's like saying standing. Same idea if you hear either or. Okay.
Parados and de pie are the same thing. Or the
Yeah,
same thing, right?
Correct. Continuamos. ¿Qué es esto? Es el cuaderno. Número 2, Chris, ¿qué son estos?
Es las banderas.
Es más de uno, en plural. Son.
Oh, okay.
Son las banderas.
Son las banderas.
Podemos ver acá, en la pregunta, que dice, ¿qué son estos? ¿Quién es? ¿Qué es? ¿Quiénes son? ¿Qué es? Y son. Cuando van a responder, usen esa palabra. Número 2, Woyo. ¿Quién es?
Es la profesora.
Excelente. Es la profesora. Número 3, Chris. ¿Qué es esto?
Es el borradores. O borrador. Es el borrador.
Excelente, muy bien. Número 4. ¿Qué son estos, Wojo?
Son
Los
los pupitres.
pupitres, muy bien. Número 5, Chris, ¿qué es esto?
Es la silla.
Es la silla. Excelente. Wojo, ¿quiénes son?
El profesor.
Son los profesores.
Say that again.
Profesores.
¿Qué son profesores? Son profesores. Okay.
Son los profesores. They are the teachers.
The teachers. Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Hector,
if you say their teachers, you can say son profesores. That's okay.
Okay.
But remember that what happens in these exercises is that the author wants for you to practice the particular way of responding for this exercise.
What's the difference between que and quienes?
That's a great question.
talking about people and inanimate objects, right? So quien is who, and
Okay.
quien
Quien is what? And quienes is who and
Let me
okay, I
write
think I get it.
this.
who and what. So technically, right?
Who
Who and what?
Yeah, so quien means who. Who is here? That would be asking, it could be one person. ¿Quién está aquí? Ahora, si yo escucho mucho ruido, I hear a lot of noise, I'm not going to say who as one person. I'm going to say
Quienes.
in plural form because I already know that there's more than one. I heard talking. So when I'm going to ask the question, I'm going to say, ¿quiénes están ahí?
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so ¿quiénes is who in plural form. And then que with a question mark, it means what? I think I told you this last time. Remember this. If you see okay in the middle of a sentence, it usually means that. Okay?
Okay.
So Hector, quick question. So que es esto would be one, and que son estos would be plural. So es would be uno, and son would be plural. See?
Correct.
So it's
So
like it's an R.
okay.
Es is singular. Son plural.
Okay.
Okay? And as you notice, I'm trying to add a few things to this stuff to make you guys like skip to a few sections. And as we move along, you're going to see that we're going to be doing a lot more because it's going to get a little bit more complex, especially with the reading and understanding. So we're moving along. Repitan. Los alumnos escriben en los cuadernos.
Los
Los alumnos escriben en los cuadernos.
Muy bien.
So okay, Hector, let's stay there since we're talking about all these plurals and what's more. So why is it escriben and not escribe, or what's the difference? Like I get obviously los cuadernos because it's a O, alumnos because it's a O, but porque escriben?
Is it because escriben is like in English ing, writing instead of write?
Nope. I'm going to write it from and explain it to you. The students write on in their notebooks. Okay, so Chris, your question is a whole lot more complicated than you might be thinking.
Okay.
So I am going to answer it, but by me telling you that it's complicated, I just need to make sure that you guys pay close attention. because I'm going to write something here to kind of explain. So when you are conjugating, which is a word that often a lot of people don't like because that's when you have to start putting pronouns and verbs together. In Spanish, there are 16 different verb tenses. I had told you guys this in the first class. And when you, so I'm going to take this actual word, the word escribir, to write, okay? Let me just move down. I guess I could maybe fit it in here, maybe. Okay, I'll just put it on top. Here we go. So let's go over all the different tenses. Yo, tú. This one's repeat because it's the same third person. And guys, you should write this somewhere. This is really important.
Yep, I'm going to be right back. Let me get a pen.
Take, like, this is something that you can start using like today. This is why it's a little complicated, but you'll be able to do it as long as you follow the rules. All right, so when you're conjugating, you're usually going to see a 6-part graph. It's actually usually drawn like this. I'm gonna draw it here just so you see it. This is not something we're gonna really like spend time doing right now, but I will probably, I'm gonna be sharing with you some pages, like online exercises that you could actually, like videos that you could watch. So it usually looks like this. 3 on the top and 3 on the bottom. And what it stands for is each box represents a different pronoun. So what happens is the following. Now, we're going to start backwards because of the fact that I am, to answer your question, I'm going to use a verb that ends in IR. The easier of the 3 verbs, we have 3 different ones. We have verbs that end in, I'll write them all here. Oh, you know what, I'll just do this. I'll write them all here. And you can, this way you have all 3 of them all at once, get them over with. This is, we're gonna do present tense, presente. We could do that today, okay? And we're going to call this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Presente. El verbo cantar. Yo cant es la raíz. The root of the word is cant. Okay? So cant is going to be the same for every single one of the numbers. This is the beginning. You know what the numbers stand for, right? The numbers are the pronouns. You good? Make sure everybody's good. So 4, same thing, can't. 5, can't. 6, can't. So that's the beginning for every single one of those verbs in present tense. Now, if I want to say yo in a verb that ends in AR, I will say yo canto. Tú cantas. Él canta. Now, you see that line I'm putting? You don't need to write that line. I'm only putting the line to show you that you take any word that ends in AR, you put the root of the word, and then you change the ending to that I'm writing there. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Let me finish here and then I'll give you another example.
Yo, go get the gifts.
Nosotros cantamos.
Hector, are you writing somewhere? Because I don't see it.
It's on the right-hand side of the screen, at least on my screen.
Hold on, I'm my pictures. Oh, sorry,
No problem.
the videos were covering it.
Yeah, I had to move his like the PIP thing.
Cantáis. Cantan. So let me write here on the side. Why is this important? So you see what I just did there with those endings? Let me use another word, andar. And that is another word of saying, oh, let's do an easier one. And that is the same as caminar. Let's just caminar. You take the root of the word. That's the root. See the root there? Camin. The endings are going to be exactly the ones I just wrote.
Oh,
Yo camino, tú caminas, él camina, nosotros caminamos, camináis, caminan. I just didn't put the numbers here. So remember, the numbers are the pronouns. I don't want to keep writing them over and over.
No, I get it. But what's the difference between nosotros and vosotros? I don't think I've ever seen vosotros.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you in a moment.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
Depending who's teaching you, they might not even teach you that one. But I want you to know all of it because you guys, in your jobs, you deal with people from all over the world, including people from Spain. And sometimes you're going to hear that. So the difference is the following. And you know what? Let me write this here so you can also copy this in your notebook. Yo means I. Tú means you. But this is you in singular form. Okay. Él means he. Ella, she. Usted, you. Singular, formal. That's for you. Are we good with that one?
Sí.
So if I say, ¿cómo estás tú? ¿Cómo está usted? That's what we had talked about in a while ago. The difference between formal and informal. So they're both correct. It just depends who you're talking to. And notice this book pretty much teaches you in almost a little bit informal. They want you to learn tú all the way through. But I'm going to show you both because you might hear both. So as we go further along, you'll see a lot more practice. But here we go. The next one. The next one is for nosotros, it's we. But the first one is we, male. With the OS.
So we'll always be nosotros.
Nosotros. We male is going to end with the OS. And we female is going to end with the AS. Does that make sense, Wojo?
Kind of in a way. I'm a little lost, but I think I'm picking it up slowly.
Yeah, once I start reading, once I write it, I'm going to give you a bunch of sentences and it'll make sense. Now.
But that only pertains to the words with that end with the ER, right?
Correct. So far, there's 3 endings in Spanish. AR, ER, and IR. The endings that I showed you on top, when I showed you cantar, that's the AR ending.
Okay.
I'm going to show you ER in a second, and then I'm going to show you IR, which is going to answer the question for the example that Chris asked about. Escriben. Where does escriben come from? You will see it in a second. So, vosotros is exactly the same as ustedes is the same. it means you in plural. But why is it different than ustedes? Very simple. It's the same as saying in English, thou and thee. So, for example, I can say, Woyo, ¿cómo estás tú? How are you? I can also say, which I didn't write it here, but I'm just going to mention it. You usually don't write this one, but this is a formal way of saying, like usted. You could actually use the old Spanish, the same way you could use the old English, and I could say, ¿Cómo está vos? V-O-S. And it actually is the beginning of this word. And again, don't go too crazy about this. You will see more examples about it later on. So for now, it doesn't really matter. Just write it and know that if you see it, it just means you plural. That's all you need to know. And the last one, ellos. Ellos means they, male. Okay?
Mr. Q, I don't want to interrupt, but whatever you're writing down, like the examples, yo, tú, él, ella, ustedes, I only got it down to number 3. Everything else is covered. So I don't have it on my screen.
How about now?
No.
I can see it on mine. His might just be a
I don't
little.
know if it's got a banner on the bottom. I'm on the cell phone, so maybe that's why.
Oh, that's probably why.
Okay. So, you know what? Here we go. I got an idea. And this will save me time. It will save us time. But I think it's worth taking this time to do this. So just give me 1 second.
Un segundo.
Un segundo, por favor. Muy bien. I should have just done this. I would have saved time writing. This you could actually take a picture of if you would like. Can you guys see conjugación? Let me do it again. Can you see it now?
I don't see the bottom. Can you move it up a little bit?
Yeah, no, I literally only need you to see the top.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna make it bigger. As a matter of fact. I only want you to actually see the left side.
Yeah, I think next Tuesday is going to be on the. I'm going to be on the computer.
Okay. Can you guys see that one?
Presente.
Yeah, I can see it.
Excelente. So here we go. So this is what I was writing. So what you need to understand here is the following. So you probably want to take a picture. This is really, really important. This is how you conjugate verbs in first person. Again, we are jumping ahead like a bit, but it's good that you are exposed to it, so then it'll make more sense. And when you see a sentence like the one that Chris asked about, escriben, it'll make sense. So let me come here. And let me show you this part. So here we go. Cantar, and the root of the word is cant. So this O is going to be used for any word that ends in AR for yo, for I. Any word that ends in AR for tú is going to be cantas. Any word that ends in AR for él, which is he, is going to be canta. Now, you saw the 6 things that I wrote, right? So even though I just picked this up from the internet, thinking it would be helpful, it is, but it's incomplete. So I have to write this here for you. So this one also includes ella. It's the same ending. And it also includes usted. And nosotros also includes nosotras. It's the same thing. So, I know what you say you weren't too sure. Let me give you an example here. If I take the word saltar, okay, saltar means jump. The root of the word is salt. How would you say nosotros?
Saltamos.
That's it. So you look here on the bottom where it says nosotros, and the red, you would just add it in there. Saltamos.
So if you're asking somebody, like just say like, hey, are you on the way? It would be en camina, or.
So if you wanted to say that, you could say, in reality, you want to say, are you on your way, right? So you would use estás. En
camino. Well, that would, camino isn't yo, which would be yourself. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, but in this, the word or the letters that is giving you what you need is not that, oh, is this one's here. Es, estás, tú estás. Camino is a noun. In this sentence, it's not a verb.
Oh, okay.
So it's the camino means way in that sense.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So let's see, Wojo, how would you say for the verb saltar? How would you say for ellos?
Saltara?
So then you're going to come here.
Saltan.
Muy bien. So it will be ellos saltan. Okay, muy bien. All right, so let me just show you this. And then again, this is a whole lesson in itself, but you asked, so I just want to give you something. So I'm going to type a word that ends in IR, which is the one that you asked about, Chris.
Right, so I understand why now that they use escriben, porque there was muchos niños, because there was a lot of kids.
Muchos niños, son ellos. Y como son ellos, se escriben.
So singular would be escribo.
Yo escribo.
And
tú
tú
escribes. Él escribe, escribimos y escribís.
Está bien.
Ahora, last one, I'll show you, but you probably may want to write this or take a picture of it. So this is the IR endings. IR. So it will be yo escribo, tú escribes, escribe, escribimos, escribís, y escriben. And the last one.
And so when would you use escribir? When would you actually use the IR? Escribir. When would you use that compared to?
That's a great question. If you say, I am going to write, you're going to use it.
Okay.
Yo voy a escribir. I am going to talk to you. Yo le voy a hablar a usted.
Okay.
I am going to feed you. Yo le voy a alimentar. Another moment when you would use it as well is when you're taking the verb and turning it into a noun. For example, into a subject. For example, swimming. I go swimming, right? So we could use that as a noun. If you say swimming is a great sport, okay? In a sentence like that, you would actually say el nadar is how you say swim, to swim. Nadar es un deporte divertido, fun, or whatever you want to say. Those are like the main moments where you're going to use it.
Okay. I'm understanding. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to obviously get used to, but I'm understanding why and where and when and how.
This is the thing. If you live today understanding 20% of what we went over, 20%, that's actually good. 20% is good. because at least the 20% allows you that when you see it, you can make a connection. Again, we're jumping quite ahead. Once you actually see it put into practice, more sentences using these verbs, you'll be good. And the last one I want to show you, it's another verb, but that ends in er. So let's look at this one.
Drink, right?
Drink, beber. And in this particular one, you're going to notice that escribir, let's go back. I can't show you both, but if we had escribir, right? This one says, I'll write it here so you can see it side by side. Escribir was, yo escribo. Tú escribes. So just look how they repeat. Él escribe, but then it changes in nosotros. Nosotros escribimos.
This is hemos.
Vosotros escribís y ellos escriben. So there are only two different changes in the verb tenses when you are doing ER and IR in Spanish. I want you to understand that I just went over what a high school student would do in about 3 months in 10 minutes.
No wonder I'm a little confused.
That's what I'm saying. So if you don't understand 100%, it's okay. But when you see that somebody, maybe they'll say a phrase like, if you hear somebody say, escribimos mucho, and you're like, escribimos, hold on, but what's the pronoun? What's the pronoun? You know that the pronoun is nosotros because of the ending.
Uh-huh.
So that's why you have to know, you have to learn this, because you might hear people not actually say nosotros.
So you know whether they're talking about you, them, they, that person, if they're talking, you know, right? Okay, understand.
Correct. So that pretty much gives you an idea of all three different tenses. So now let's go back to see the actual sentence from the book.
So yo bebo is I am drinking.
No. That's a whole different lesson in itself, but what you asked earlier, so I'm gonna give you another month's worth of Spanish in 30 seconds. Let me share the screen. Can you guys see it?
I drank. Yeah.
All right, so hold on. Okay.
Next time I'm definitely doing this on a laptop.
Yeah, so Wojo asked this question before. Wojo, don't forget, you could watch the video later, if anything, and just go, when you're doing the video, find the spot and then pause it and take a picture of it.
Okay.
Take a file. That's the easiest, the best way to do it, and just put into make little flashcards for yourself. All right, so ing is actually translated as ando or yendo. So it depends on the verb ending. So let's do a verb ending in AR. Cantar, right? Cantar, how do you say singing? Cantando.
Está bien. So yo bebo is I drink. You would use that in the sentences, yo bebo agua.
Correcto. Yo bebo agua, yo bebo jugo.
Okay, está bien.
Ahora, vamos a ver en beber. Okay. Beber, which is for ER. Yo estoy bebiendo. The ing.
Okay. I am drinking.
And if you have IR, pretty much the same ending. Like let's say the verb vivir, which means to live. Yo estoy viviendo. Living. So, as we are finishing up today, you could take with you a lot of things that we talked about today.
Sí.
A few important points. One is that when somebody's speaking Spanish to you, when you're speaking Spanish, and you don't hear a pronoun, when you don't hear yo, tú, él, o ella, you have to know the ending of the verb that's being used, and that's going to tell you what you're saying. So if I say, como mucho, como comes from comer, the O, we know that on the top of the list, so that's yo, even though I didn't say yo. So what does that mean? When you're speaking to somebody and they are speaking kind of fast, you tell them to slow down. And if you don't hear the pronoun, you have to figure out, especially if they're telling you a story. Like, let's say, Chris, in your business, somebody broke something. Let's say one of the employees broke something. And they're trying to explain to you, I was standing there and then they came. So it will sound something like this. Instead of them saying, yo estaba, they could potentially say, estaba. And then you have to understand that that includes I, that's me, okay? And then when I say they broke it, I might not say ellos, I might say, for that one, I would probably have to say that. Y ellos rompieron. And then when you're going to asterisk, you can say, ¿quiénes? Same word we used before, ¿quiénes rompieron? Because you know it was more than one person. And the second point that you could take with you today is, if you hear ing, if you hear the endings ando, yendo on verb, then you know that it's still happening. Now, let's think about from a law enforcement perspective, right? A policeman wants to really understand this word, because if something is happening right now, you want to know that.
Yeah.
If somebody is currently experiencing a medical emergency and they say, ellos están convulsando, you might not know that convulsando means that they're trembling, shaking, and gasping for air. You might not know that, but you know that it's happening right now. So something is happening, okay? And that kind of gives you a little bit of an indication for something good or bad, depending whatever the situation might be. All right, so we're going to stop here today. We're on page 42. Please make sure that you finish. You should continue. We should pretty much be like up to unit 3, chapter 3 already. So continue moving forward, and I will send you some exercises on the computer. And please make sure, once I share this video, please make sure that you review this video.
Definitely this one. Definitely this one for sure.
Yeah, this was very insightful.
Jot down the verb conjugations, and that's going to be helpful. And I will send you a few others. I'm going to send you some videos, like little clips, to help illustrate this stuff, where you could actually see the pictures a lot bigger and a lot better.
Ah, perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Hector. Appreciate it.
You guys have a blessed day. Soon. See you next week.
Yeah, take care.
All right. God bless you.